Hey friends, it's me Samantha and I'm here today to do another recipe for you guys. This is going to be my roasted chicken in the oven. So real quick, the first thing you want to do is set your oven to 375 degrees. Now I'm just going to go over what we're going to need for this recipe. You could always add less things or more things to it. It's totally up to you, but this is just what I'm going to use today. So I'm going to use some potatoes. I'm going to need to use some chicken broth, or if you have chicken stock, then that works too, or vegetable broth, whatever you have. Some carrots, and you might have seen I used this with my chicken soup that I made. So I'm going to use some carrots. I don't have a lemon to put inside my chicken, so I'm just going to use an apple. You could use a lemon or an orange if you have that on hand. I'm going to have to use some butter. A whole chicken, which I got this whole chicken for $6.93. I haven't looked at it yet, so I don't know how big it is, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty big. You're gonna need a pan to put like your potatoes and your chicken in, that kind of thing. And then for seasoning, I'm gonna use garlic powder. I'm gonna use some paprika, salt and pepper, some rosemary, thyme, and poultry seasoning. And then you're also gonna need some olive oil, which I haven't taken it out yet, so I'm just going to use this olive oil. I got this huge thing at Sam's Club like a few months ago. I think it was like in July, and look how much I still have, a lot. So yeah, so let's get started. If you want to learn how to make this simple roasted chicken, please keep watching. So the first thing you want to do is peel your potatoes. At least that's what I'm going to do. And I usually just put a little cutting board and I start peeling my potatoes. You're not going to need a lot because I usually make mine with rice. So that way I have my starch, my protein, and that kind of thing. But I usually always make rice with this meal just in case people don't just want potatoes. And I feel like you just get fuller and it's like a bigger meal. I don't know. So yeah, so right now you want to just start off by cutting as much potatoes as you would like. I'm probably going to cut like 3 potatoes, maybe 4. And that should be good to go. Okay, so once you have already peeled your potatoes, and obviously you're going to cut them to however you like to cut them. I don't want them overly small or like overly big, so I just kind of just cut them in the middle. So the next thing you want to do is obviously wash your carrots and add some to your potatoes. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I added a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to add some garlic powder to my potatoes and my carrots. I'm going to add some paprika. Okay, and now obviously if your hands are washed, you want to go ahead and just make sure you mix that all in nicely. Sorry, it's kind of hard to do this when holding my phone. But as you can see, everything is nicely coated with the paprika and the garlic powder and the olive oil. So you definitely want to make sure that everything is nice and coated, and just push it to the side. And now your next step is to wash your chicken, and then you're going to place your chicken right on top of here. A trick that I can give you is cut like 2 onions in half and then put the onion pieces right here, so that way the chicken sits on top of the onions and it could cook evenly all around the chicken. That is just a tip that you can do. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, you could do that. So yeah, go ahead and wash your chicken, and then I'll meet you here for your next step. All right, so I washed the chicken and I pretty much rinsed it out, made sure she is nice and clean. I cleaned the inside. Now I'm gonna add that apple in there. And then the next step you're gonna do is you're gonna grab a bowl and you're gonna put about 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm just gonna use that kind of butter right there. And you're gonna melt it, okay? You're not gonna like overdo it though. You're just gonna melt it until it's not too hard, unless your butter is like kind of semi-soft, then you don't have to melt it at all. I think I'm just going to use mine the way that it is. I'm just going to put it in a bowl and then you're going to see what I'm going to do next. Okay, so you're going to season your chicken with olive oil, garlic, paprika, the same thing that you used when you seasoned your potatoes and your carrots. And you could actually add some poultry seasoning as well. And then after you do that, your mixture that you did, your butter, your rosemary, and your thyme, that's gonna go inside your chicken. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the skin, we're gonna kind of lift it up, and you're gonna see how I'm gonna do that. And you're gonna apply that mixture inside, so when it melts, it's gonna go all over the inside of the chicken. It's just gonna be amazing. Got the chicken. Okay, so got my garlic, got my paprika, a little bit of olive oil. Yeah, let me turn her around so that way you can see what I'm doing. All right, there you go. So your apple. And the wings I'm just gonna put behind the head. Okay. So you see this skin right here? You're gonna go in with your hands. You don't wanna be too rough, okay? So you're gonna go in there. You don't wanna be rough like I said. And you're kind of just gonna put your hand in there if you're not totally disgusted. Sorry, the camera cut off. I had to go take off my ring because I thought it was just weird me sticking my hand in there. But yeah, after you open up your chicken, like all the skin, I don't know if you could tell, you're gonna add the seasoning that you did, the butter with the rosemary and the thyme. You're gonna add it inside the chicken. You're gonna massage it all over. You're gonna put it all over the chicken as well, because this is gonna give your chicken so much flavor. Like, oh my goodness, the skin is gonna look absolutely beautiful. So you want to just go ahead and season it with all that butter and herbs and all that. So it's gonna be absolutely delicious. I just want to mention that you're going to be roasting the chicken in the oven for a total of 3 hours. So in those 3 hours, you're going to baste the chicken every 30 minutes from the time that you put it in the oven. So every 30 minutes, you're going to baste the chicken with the broth that's on the bottom of the pan, and it's going to come out delicious. Okay, so now you're going to grab your chicken broth. I have already been cooking the chicken for about 30 minutes now, and you're going to put this all over, as so. This is going to make such good flavoring for your chicken and your potatoes and everything. I put about half of this. So now we're going to just put this back in, and then in another 30 minutes we're going to come in and we're going to mix the potatoes and the carrots around, make sure that everything is evenly coated, and we're going to baste the chicken again, okay? Alright, so after about 2 hours, I want to say it was like 5 when I put it in. It's about to be 7 o'clock, so After 2 hours, this is what your chicken should look like, and your potatoes and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just mix this around like this, like so. And as you can see, it smells like amazing. And I'm just basting it. You could use a baster. I'm just using my spoon. If you see that you don't have too much liquid, go ahead and add more chicken broth or chicken stock. But yeah, this is gonna, I usually leave the chicken in the oven for about 3 hours. But obviously cooking time depends on your oven. The potatoes are like getting nice and soft, and look at that. Alright, so this is what you're gonna need for the rice. I'm just using jasmine rice. I'm gonna use 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water, and I'm gonna use half of this tomato sauce, some tomato bouillon, and then some chicken bouillon. And I also want to add, if you do not have tomato sauce but you do have tomatoes, you can use about 2 Roma tomatoes or 1, depending on how big they are. Half of an onion, a garlic, water, a little bit of this, a little bit of that in a blender, and that will work just the same as if it was just the tomato sauce. So yeah, it's a quick disclaimer, sorry about that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up a little bit of oil in the pot, and then I'm going to add 1 cup of rice, and then I'll show you what to do next. So I don't know if you could hear it, but my oil is heating up nicely. So then you're going to add your 1 cup of rice. Give me a second so I can grab something. Okay, so I don't know if you could tell, but some of the rice is a little whiter than the other. So you want the rice to get all like that, all nice and white, kind of like, I don't know, like just nice and toasted. And then you want to let it get to a brownish color, kind of like you're just a light brown, because you want to toast the rice before you actually throw in the water and all the rest of the ingredients. And you want to keep your eye on it because you don't want to burn your rice. Like, no one likes burned rice. So keep your eye on it. I'm going to let you guys do your toasting of the rice. And then I'll show you what to do next once it's nice and lightly brown, or at least until it's all nice and white. So while we are browning the rice, I want to go ahead and just turn the potatoes, make sure they're nicely cooked, make sure that they're not sticking to the pan, making sure that you don't need any more vegetable stock or broth. It's nicely browning. If you can see that, it looks delicious. Look at that. I'd say in about 30 minutes this chicken will be done, and that's how long it will take for our rice to be ready. So everything's gonna get done right on time. I just want to eat it all up right now. So now that our rice is like a browner color, and mind you, this is the easier way to make Mexican rice, but you could definitely make Mexican rice like I told you. If you don't have a can of tomato sauce, you can add half of an onion, 2 Roma tomatoes, a garlic, the chicken bouillon, the tomato bouillon, about a tablespoon of each. No, not a tablespoon, a teaspoon, because it's salty. Water, and it will do just the same, okay? So I'm going to add some tomato sauce to this. You don't want to add the whole thing, maybe half of this can. Just want to mix it all up, make sure it's nice and incorporated in there. Okay, we're going to add our 2 cups of water. And I'll just eyeball it. Like, you don't want to add too much water. It depends on the pan that you're using, but usually the deal is 1 cup of rice is 2 cups of water. So 2 cups of rice would be 4 cups of water. So I'm going to add the rest in there. That should be good. And then we're going to put our tablespoon or teaspoon. I'd say a teaspoon of each, okay? So give me a second. All right, so about a teaspoon of the chicken bouillon. And a teaspoon of the tomato bouillon. And now we're gonna just mix this all up. If you have a bay leaf, you could add it on top. Or if you like chilies or something like that, whatever. Some people like adding chunks of tomatoes and leaving it in there. It's totally up to you. Usually if I make rice, I either add vegetables or I add beans. But right now I'm just going to do rice because I have the potatoes and the carrots already. So now that everything is nice and mixed, we're going to let this come to a boil. So we're going to turn our heat up to high. And then once that comes to a boil, we're going to cover it, turn it down to low, and let it cook for 30 minutes. So a quick tip I wanted to let you know, because a lot of people don't know, is do not lift the lid. I know it's tempting when you're first starting to learn how to make rice and you want to see like how it's going, if it's done cooking and that kind of thing, but do not lift the lid, because the rice is not going to cook all the way through and then you're going to have some hard rice. So just wait the 30 minutes, trust me, it's worth it. So we got about 10 more minutes to go. So our chicken is done. Look at how beautifully caramelized, and the potatoes are nice and soft. Everything looks amazing. So now I'm just gonna give it one little turn. Look at that. They're just like breaking apart. They're so nice and soft. And if you have some more liquid, which as you can tell the liquid's already evaporating, just go ahead. No, baby, it's hot. You can't touch it. What, baby?
When you're done cooking, can I have to eat the leg?
Yes, baby, you can have the leg. Yeah, no, don't touch. It's hot, okay?
I love eating skins and legs, right?
Yes, baby. There you go, guys. That's the rice, and it's looking really good. Now you can actually cover it and turn it off because it'll finish cooking by itself while we wait for the chicken to settle. So.
You're done, give it to me.